Okay, so we're recording now. I'm just gonna mute whoever's talking. If you're not on, can you please mute if you're not speaking? 1 second, I need to figure out who this is. There we go. Perfect. All right. So with Datamiine, I'm going to go over the inventory features first. So I'm just going to click on your dashboard tab here and go to the eBay page and click on inventory summary. So eBay to us has never given you a really good, clear view of what you have in inventory. So my background is in manufacturing and holding costs and things like that. So I got with my partner Wu Chung and I'm like, I wanted to be able to see a nice holding cost of what I have sitting on eBay at any period of time and what's not moving. So what this chart is saying that I have $342 of active listings that hasn't sold in a half a year. I have over $5,000 that hasn't sold in 91 and greater days. We all know the big new eBay push is going everything to a good tool canceled. So if you're that person that use 30-day listings, in 30 to 60 days, you're going to start seeing a drop in your sales because you are not manually going in there and relisting everything. So we automated that for you. And that's the big feature that everyone's talking about right now. Let me just go ahead and one more person. And then, so let me show you how to use this feature real quick. So let's say I want to auto delist. My rule of thumb is anytime it hits 58 or greater days, I like to delist and sell similar. So I want to do that, let's say for these 34 items. I'm just going to click on the 91 to 180 and all those items are going to be pulled down below. That's all these right here. And then I'm just going to select all. This is very important. So watch what I'm about to do here. If it's more than 25 things, it's going to put it into a separate tab. So you see tab 1, tab 2. Just hold down control and make sure that opens up in a new tab. And then you're going to select all and you click reset. Reset is like relist. So just go ahead and click reset. And then you're done. You basically just approved 25 items for us to do. And then go to your next tab and there should be the rest of them here. Click on select all, reset, and then you're done. So we basically just did 34 items in under 10 seconds. So what that does is we only talk to eBay every 24 hours. So you just put those items into a working queue for us to delist and sell similar. So that is what we refer to as your basket, your delist sell similar basket. So if you go to the basket, you will see those items I just did. I have 37 total items in that basket. Every 24 hours, we're going to come into your basket and grab the oldest 25, take them down, relist them, refresh them, new item IDs. If you had 100 items in here, it would take 4 days to go through. We strategically did 25 per day because let's say you do 100 items. It's going to trick eBay into thinking that you are manually going into eBay, taking them down, tweaking your listings, and then putting them up. And this drives, I think, higher search for your items. And the best part about this, you can actually quantify everything that you have sold. So if you go to your dashboard tab and go to report home, there is a sales report by delist sell similar. You can see that in January, our company did $1,300 in sale inventory. February, $1,265. March, $700. It's increasing our sales through 18% this month, 6%, 10% so far for March. I didn't think this feature was going to be this big, but until we launched it last August, it was amazing to see what it did to our search rank. So before I move on to any other features, this is a pretty big one. Does anyone have any questions about this? You have to unmute yourself and then talk real quick. Nope, pretty self-explanatory. Okay. Another cool thing is, I'm just gonna go back once. I'm gonna go back to my basket real quick. Inventory summary. Sorry, it's taking a little while. Internet's slow here. So let's say you're not ready to, let's say you have 100 items that is in stale inventory, and you want to put all those 100 items in a separate queue for you to manage somewhere else. What you could do is put those into your basket and then unapprove them. Datamiine does not delist, relist, only if they're approved. So when you click reset, it automatically flips out to an approved status. But if you want to say, let's say I don't have time to tweak pricing because it's not selling for a reason, whether the pitches are bad or whatever, you can just come in here and click unapprove while you're working on them, and we won't touch those listings at all. You see now into pending status. So this is kind of a way you can manage your inventory, put it into a separate area. Good one feature might be, let me change the pricing on it. So you can come in here and copy and paste the listing itself. You can do price changes inside Datamiine. You want to go to listing assignment. Listing assignment is just like active listings on eBay. And then you would come in here and put the title, and you would search it. Let's say you want to make a price change to it or a quantity if you sell renewables. Just come in here and click edit. And then you want to go to your edit basket and find that hard drive, which is right here. And this pending means that it's in my basket, my delist sell similar basket. So then you just click there and click start edit. And now you can change the quantity or the price. That's kind of a high price. I'm going to change it right now. $139.99. Review and approve. And that talks to eBay real time. So even though we sync with eBay every 24 hours, we push information into eBay anytime that you sync it like that. So now the price just got updated. One really neat way that people use this right here, let's say you want to do a price change to everything that has high watchers on it. I'm just going to go into back into my active listings. And then I'm going to order by. We can order by title, current price, not sold, but I'm order by watch count. And go to descending. And this is going to put my most watched items at the top. Perfect. So this CPU here, I have one in stock. I have 117 watchers on it. I'm going to, anytime you know that you make a price change to someone that has watchers, you know they get notified there's been a price change. Well, I noticed something when I have this many watchers on an item, even though I increase the price, they still sometimes buy. Just because they got reminded they wanted that product. So remember, I would just go to edit here. I'm just going to do these two. And then I need to go back into my bulk edit basket. That's where it's going to be at. There they are right here. And then go to start edit. I'm going to increase my price to 49 and 89. Review changes and submit. So now we just did a very targeted price change to things at high watchers, which will probably sell at a higher price. And that could take up to like 10 seconds depending on how you're doing. Another neat thing with inventory, let's say you wanted to do a targeted marketing promotion of things that weren't selling. eBay only allows you to promote like an entire store category. But sometimes as a business owner, you don't want to promote something that's going to have a high sales through rate, but it's in the same store category. So how do you do that? In eBay, it's very manual, but you can go to your inventory and you will see where it says export to CSV. You can export all your active listings. Then what you do is that pulls it into a Excel file like this. You can sort by elapsed day. That means that's how many days it took for that item. That item hasn't sold in that many days. So sort by highest to greatest. And now you're going to copy and paste all those item IDs. I'm going to do a targeted promotion for something that hasn't sold in 100 days. So this will be 104. All right. Copy those item IDs, go into eBay. Go into marketing. Go into markdown sale. Click on create promotion, sales event markdown. they've changed this page recently. It's not you. Good. Sorry, another eBay change. I'm just gonna mute whoever. Marketing, markdown sale, create promotion, sales event markdown. Here we go. Choose your percent. We typically do no more than 10%. eBay defaults to 30, so be very careful. And then 1 second. And then you're going to select items. This is the most important. You would say, I want to enter specific SKUs or item IDs. You click on that, then you choose item ID, and then you paste all those item IDs, and you click add offer. That could take some time for all those. Now they all pulled in here. And what that allows you to do is create a targeted markdown event of things that aren't selling. So you could do this before you do delist or sell similar. It doesn't really matter, but I just wanted to show you if you wanted to do a very specific marketing campaign. Maybe you don't want to do it off item ID. Maybe you want to do it off a store category or a custom SKU. I'm not sure how y'all use custom SKU, but this will give you the ability to do that really quickly. Anyone have any questions so far around inventory? Nope. All right. Few more things on inventory. So you can, I don't know if you ever try to search in eBay. Well, you probably have, and eBay came back and said that you're trying to find a listing and it doesn't exist, but you know that you typed in a title. eBay breaks all the time like that. But in Datamiine, let's say you want to search 3 products. So these are just bits and pieces of a title, and all I'm doing is put a comma in between them, and I click search. That will pull up all those active listings. If I try to do that at eBay, it would break. And then let's say you wanted to make some changes to it. You can click on the picture, and that will redirect you to eBay, to your actual active listing really quickly. So you can drill down quick that way. Let's say you wanted to do, how does I'm curious, I want some Q&A here. How does everyone use custom label? Is it only for inventory purposes?
I use it for inventory and cost of goods.
Okay, so cost of goods and inventory. Let me show you how we use custom label for at least clothing. So I'm just going to type in my wife's initials. Okay, so what this is tracking is we use virtual listers as well. So I want to track who's listing what inventory bin is going to, maybe even who the consigner is, and all this is within one custom label. So consigner is here, the lister is here. I can see the start date because we pay them once they list the item, and G9 is the inventory bin. So you can get real clever. You can put a comma in here and put someone else's initials. I can't think of the other lady's name. Let's see if that pulls up anything. But this is kind of how you search by all this stuff right here. Let's say you wanted to do an audit of your inventory. I'm going to just go to a bin, A5. And that will pull up everything that's inside that bin. It's really not a good example. -A, -A. This will show me everything in my bin A. And then I want to catalog view will now take all those listings and put it into a nice print friendly with a picture, with your custom label and the quantity. So you can print this out and then go do a reconcile of your inventory. All right. All right, before I move on to any other things, does anyone have questions in general about inventory as a whole? Nope. All right, let's move on to.
Hey, I got a question. So all that information carries back over when you do delist?
Yes, 100%.
Yep.
In eBay, you would lose custom label if you didn't know that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so we figured it took us 6 months to work on that. It was a beast of a project, but we just kept seeing people out there like having D-list sell similar parties. I'm like, this is crazy. We have to figure out how to automate this. So no other questions about inventory. Let's see if I can think of anything else. Export view, catalog view, inventory cogs. Okay, now I'm going to move on to some of my favorite features, which is the orders page. So this right here is just like paid and shipped orders. But the information you get from it's pretty interesting. So you can track by custom label. Just how I would track all my stuff that was virtually listed by my wife, and I want to see all the orders that she listed. So then you can do, if you're paying people on when things sell, then this is a very easy way of tracking that. You can export this to Excel as well, manipulate it any way you want it to. Let me go back. But what this information does is, on 3/8, I sold this hard drive, and here's the title of it in eBay. For $115, I sold 5 of them today. My total price was this. We paid shipping. My buyer ID, the number, any number right here should gravitate to, because that shows you a repeat customer. In the text space, it's high repeat customers. So you can see there should be 2 transactions from this guy. Sure enough, back on June of 2018, he purchased this hard drive. So this is how we have been able to identify repeat customers. I call them, I thank them for their purchase, typically around 2 days after I see the goods were received. And I see, do they have any other buying needs or selling needs? So once a week, I would just come into Datamiine. I'll just scan the last 7 days worth of transactions just to see if anything sticks out. 2 things that I look for: really high repeat customer count. So I'm just going to try to gravitate. So show you, this is exactly what I do once a week. Page 2. These are all orders from this week. I think down here is a good example. Yeah, this is a great example here. This person has purchased 24 times from us. So I click on the 24. I can see every order he's ever done. This exact customer here, actually, we do a lot of business every week directly through PayPal, but sometimes they're just so busy they buy online. They don't have time to reach out to me, figure out my inventory. They just buy. So has anyone that has been using the program been shocked that they actually see they have repeat customers? Have you seen that yet, or you didn't know to look for that? Nothing? One way to quickly identify that, if you go to your customers tab here, and then go to loyal customers, this will show you your top repeat customers and all the revenue that you're generating from them. So on
I was just going to say, I think that's less likely for those of us who are just one-off, sellers.
You're right. You're right. In clothing, go ahead.
Let me say something that
Sure.
I thought that too. I mean, I've been selling on that platform for 20 years, and I just said I don't have any repeat customers. The very first week that I did this and downloaded it, somebody bought a sweater from me on Monday, and they came back and bought another one on Wednesday. They didn't even have time to get the first one. So I was that way too. I sell a lot of one-offs. Nobody's going to be a repeat buyer, but I'm surprised at how many I do have. So I'm happy to have this because it has changed my thought process on repeat buyers.
Yeah, let me give you an example how you would use this. And I've seen a lot of data. I've talked to thousands of sellers out there. And the more one-off items that you have in your store, let's say you have 1,000 active listings and it's 1,000 knockoffs of the different stuff, the less likely you can brand yourself at all. So your sales through rate, I think, is probably going to be 5%. You're not going to have any repeat buyers. But let's say you stick to like 2 niches. Let's say you only stick to Nike products. You only stick to this. You're going to start building a following, even though you're not thinking that you're probably branding yourself. But if you only carry those products consistently, you will start seeing repeat buyers. And I have seen this in clothing. But for someone who just does one-off knockoffs every single time, it's really tough to do that. So with that said, any questions about paid and shipped orders? Is pretty simple. It's kind of very like eBay, but we just give you the ability to track your buyers. And also anytime you see a bold domain name like this right here, this should gravitate your eyes to this is probably a business, and then you click on it and it will open up their website in a new tab. This is kind of weird, but seen some weird stuff by doing this, but I'm trying to find businesses out there that I can buy from, and that's why I did that. So that's it. I'm gonna go over some reporting features, and I'm gonna go into accounting. Dashboard, report home. Okay, so sales performance is really important because this right here, now we give you obviously your revenue like you have in eBay, but what we're giving you is your sales through rate by store. So this store right here has a 9.7% sales through rate, and our other one has 25%. It shows your last 30 days worth of revenue. So 18,000 came from this one, 4 came from this one. And then it actually tracks your average sales price month over month. So you could be that person that says, I'm going to strategically increase my cost of goods because I think it will double my profit or something. But how do you know that your ASP is actually going up without doing the work? And most of the time people aren't consistently looking at the data because it's manual. But this is showing you, you know, I have a huge problem back in September. My ASP tanked from this account. And that's because I lost a contract with a company and I couldn't sell a certain product line. So, you know, it can really show that you have problems or heading in the right direction. And recently we got another contract, which has pushed our ASP back up. It looks at your revenue month over month by account, transaction count by account, all that information. So let's see here. I'm just gonna go through some more reports. Sales report by state. So this is showing you where your revenue is coming from by state. Only 2.4% of ours is driving in the state that we're at. Sales report by categories. This is, to me, one of the coolest ones. You can know your sales through rate by store category. So you can see my t-shirts is 11.8%, which I think is not that bad. If people are on the call and they think they have a 25, 30% sales through rate when they sell knockoff or one-off items, I would highly suggest look at it because I have not seen that. 11 to 12, 15% in clothing is really good. The average I probably see is probably 4 or 5. So, and then my tech goods have a much higher sales through, 39%, 60%, 21%. So if you have any interest in trying to get into tech, I'm all ears. I just did a whole video on it. It's a very niche market and you do not have to be tech savvy to actually do it. And there's ways to get product for completely free to sell online. Let's see here. Sales tax. I'm gonna go over that real quick. So sales reports by US state. For anyone on the call that has to report sales tax now is one click. When you registered in Datamiine, you had to put your state. So we default that to the very top. South Carolina, particularly, we have to report every quarter. So for Q1 this year, I just add up these numbers and that's what I report. If you had any questions about the data, you can just click on the number and it will show you all the revenue generating from that month. And then we have the same exact reporting capability for country. So this is just saying 95% of our revenue so far is going through the US. Okay. And then user report is something we're actively working on. It's more around consignment. So how can you assign inventory? It's not, we're not done with this feature yet, but if you want to assign inventory to a consignor and give them, you know, access to show them month over month all the revenue that you're driving. So that's something that we're actively working on right now. All right, that's mainly the things. I've already showed you D-list similar revenue report. Any questions on reporting capabilities? Nope. All right, now I'm going to accounting. Does anyone on the call want to know how profitable they are for everything they sell? Or you don't care? There's a chimer. Anyone else? So I think one person said they're putting cost of goods in the custom label, I think. So in Datamiine, we track it this way. What I suggest all users to do, if you want to know how profitable you are for everything you sell, when you first get into the program, I suggest you go into your inventory page and you click on inventory cost of goods. What this is going to allow you to do, and you would click edit, is instead of putting in the custom SKU, you can put it inside here. So anytime it's yellow, it means I haven't entered it. So for this particular adapter here, let's say I pay $250 for it. You can put any kind of note you want, where you purchased it from, who you purchased it from. $550. $550. And then update. I suggest you do that. Just take 30 minutes and do it for all your active listings one time. Because once you do it once, it's done, and you only have to keep up with it once you list. So if you list 10 things today, go in there tomorrow and update those 10 things with cost of goods. And then you click update. Once you do that, as the units sell, back to your orders page, paid and shipped, and you're going to click on cost of goods, it will actually show you, we don't have it entered here, but we sold this hard drive for $115, total is $575. My PayPal fees were this. We haven't synced with the PayPal fees yet because it just sold a few hours ago. My shipping and handling was this right here. My eBay fees were this, and my net profit was Y. So tomorrow morning, all this information will show my net profitability. But if you want to, if you didn't enter your cost of goods at the inventory level and you want to still do it here, you can click edit, and you can enter your cost of goods. Let's say it was, you know, $125, $152. And then click update. We will track your net profitability for that. So I know that was really fast, but there's tons of videos out there on this right here, and also this right here is being recorded. The other way, from an accounting standpoint, we give you a few options. So you're going to go to your dashboard tab and just type in accounting. So this is a very basic journal ledger for you to enter cost of goods. And you can say, okay, you know, for this month, or today I went to the Goodwill and I spent $50. My special note would be whatever you want it to be, and you click save. What that did is just created a journal entry for today. And if you go to your summary tab here, this is actually showing you your month over month profit and loss statement. So we go ahead and pull in every day, since we're talking to eBay and we have PayPal information, we are already pulling that information into your P&L. It is your responsibility to put in revenue from other sources, whether it be Poshmark, Mercari, Etsy, but we give you the ability to do that, and your expenses and your cost of goods. So let's say you did sell on another platform. I would suggest once a month coming in on the first of every month, coming in here and say revenue, Mercari, sales revenue. Source would obviously be Mercari. And then let's say it's $500, and I would call this February revenue, and then click save. And then that would post into your summary tab right here, Mercari revenue. Going back here, this is a very simple, anything that you would see in a typical QuickBooks or GoDaddy, you kind of see it here. So expenses from banking, commission fees, contractor labor, depreciation, it's all right here that you would see. Does anyone have any questions on the accounting piece? Nope. All right. Last thing I wanted to show you is mileage tracking. So one thing we realized when we did mileage tracking is a lot of our users use MileIQ. MileIQ, if you are not stopped at a place for a long period or extensive period of time, sometimes it does not capture that trip. One thing we realized is eBay sellers typically go to the same places over and over. USPS, FedEx, sourcing spots, all of that. So what I would suggest doing is going into your address book and creating addresses for all the places you go, whether it be Metro Flea Market or whatever, and then click save. And then when you need to log a trip, all you need to do is say, I started at my house, I went to the flea market, I went back to my house. Travel purpose, we'll call it sourcing. And then you just click save. And then if it's a new trip, it's going to be yellow. It's going to say, I need you to tell me how many miles I was. Well, all you have to do is just click on map. And when that integrates with Google Maps, and that will show me that round trip was 48 miles. So I'm going to go into that trip and I'm going to edit. And I'm going to click 48 and save. So now it went away. The good part about that, if you do a trip on a routine basis like most of all of us do, you don't have to manually do that anymore. All you got to do is, like I did that same trip today, travel again, save, done. So it's just one click and you're good to go. Anyone have any questions about that? All right, that's pretty much it. Y'all are pretty a quiet crew. Normally these go for about an hour. So I have plenty of time for any Q&A that y'all have. I will show you what we're working on. So the big thing that I'm trying to focus on for the rest of this year is building out wholesale connections. Currently, we landed one in South Carolina, a very big clothing manufacturer. And then what I wanted to do is, when I'm faced with, do we create a listing feature to help you list faster? I'm trying to get more creative. Like if I can help you find wholesale connections to renewables, that would solve the listing problem altogether because you wouldn't have to list one-off items. One-off items is just sucking time for everybody. So this clothing...
That's what we enjoy.
Well, that's true. Some people enjoy it. Yes.
Yeah. We're not all in it about to make money. It's some of us enjoyed the process.
The thrift. Well, I'll tell you a funny story. We did a Walmart liquidation sale 6 months ago. I have never been to a flea market in my entire life. I've never been into a Goodwill or any of that until recently. And I had the most fun at the flea market trying to sell things. I never really got why people like doing that stuff, but it really is fun. Yep. But for me, I have high payroll, so I have to, I have to make it work. So, we have four full-time employees. But in the event you did not want to have to, or I had a guy last week say, in Nebraska, it's snowing, but I can't get out to the stores and buy. So you have the option of buying from your house. But some of the items that we get from this company, and next week we're picking up 10 pallets of clothing, looks like this. So in 2 weeks, there's going to be a wholesale tab in here to where you can choose different items. And the inventory is all new, most of it new with tags. A lot of the stuff that's selling really good right now is MLB licensed gear. So like this kind of stuff here. And we sell it at $2.95 shipped with free shipping. A lot of this stuff online goes for $24.99. My goal is I have a contact that's going to be down in South America for the next 2 months, meeting in Brazil, trying to meet with shoe manufacturers and clothing manufacturers to where when you go in Datamiine, you can choose a store category and it will actually show you everything we have wholesale. And what we would like to do is run it through our store first so we can actually see the sales through rate of everything, because I don't want you buying something that you don't think will sell. And that will give you a better buying experience. So that's something very unique that I'm trying to work on that no other software company provides. But I get it. If you love thrifting, you're never going to use it because you like going to the stores. I get that. I'm not trying to change that. But other than that, I'm open up for any Q&A that y'all might have, or concerns, or just anything. What you liked about the program, or didn't.
Quick question.
Yeah.
So when you do the delist relist feature, some of us, I mean, maybe I'm the only one, I don't know. If I don't have items selling for a while, I'll go ahead and do the, the markdown. I'm wondering if the relist feature will work to items that have a markdown applied to them.
It will.
It will. Okay.
Yes. Yep. We do Markdown Manager a lot. We do promoted listings a lot. I have ironically seen more sales boost in just plain delist sales similar with like that.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions? Does anyone on the call use other tools, whether it be MileIQ, GoDaddy, any of them, Terapeak?
Well, I used to use Easy Auction Tracker, but I gave them up for you.
Yes, that sounds good. Who was that?
Chris Flannery.
Okay, perfect. Yes. What's everyone's favorite feature so far? If you got time to look at everything, is it DLSL similar?
I mean, it definitely is for me.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Amanda. We actually built our, be honest, we built our own tool to delist and sell similar that we use regularly. The only difference with ours and yours is ours is not automatic. So I think that's a pretty cool feature that you developed there. But with ours, we have the ability to like in the same window, we can change and update the titles to make them really look new.
Ah, that's nice. It's interesting you mentioned that. My wife mentioned when you were into the, I'm just going to go to the exact page, the DLSL similar basket. She wants us to give the ability to edit titles, just like you were saying. So you can just click edit mode and it will change the title right here and save it in like bulk. Would that be a good feature for everyone on the call? I'll take that as a yes.
I would use it if it was available, sure.
Okay. I mean, because the listings aren't selling for a reason. Whether they're priced too high, whether the titles aren't really good.
I would have got the front half of it, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, is it on YouTube?
No, it's on this
Hold on 1 second.
Zoom.
I got 20 more minutes. I'm willing to take any questions anyone's willing to ask me to make them feel better about the program. Does anyone sell on consignment? No consignment? Nope. Well,
I have a quick question just about the relist feature. You may have mentioned it, but I missed it. So I, just put in a relist, processing or whatever for all the items that I have that haven't sold in the past like 50 days or something. So when will I expect to see those items relisted, and will I see any, changes on my actual eBay dashboard?
You will see changes between 7 and 8 a.m. Eastern is when we go into your basket and take your 25. So for my case here, 27, I can expect it to be 25 less tomorrow at 10 a.m. And then the next day we would do the other 12.
Okay.
And that will be reflected in eBay real time.
Okay, sure. And then it'll all just relist automatically, and I'll be able to access it in my listing manager on eBay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. I'm hoping everyone on the call is, from a listing perspective, when you're doing tweaks, you're doing this through Datamiine. Datamiine is so more dynamic than eBay is. You can search better, you can drill down better, and then if you need to go into the listing, let's say, to do anything, you just click on the picture and it takes you directly to the actual listing itself. But let's see here. Is everyone on the call? I'm just curious what people on the call sell. So it sounds like hard goods. Does anyone sell anything other than clothing?
I sell tools.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. Is that replenishables or no?
What do you mean by replenishables?
Well, I mean, can you buy the same hammer over and over and over? Or
I mean, I work with a couple large tool manufacturers and wholesalers. So I have all my listings are just buy now, and I essentially have a unlimited restock option.
It is very nice. I'm assuming your margins are probably tighter than most though, but at least it's repeat.
Yeah, that's true. There's not much, mobility when it comes to the margins, especially because we have to stay within the manufactured retail price for those that we have contracts with, like, brick and mortar stores and stuff. But it definitely has its perks. I mean, we only got started on it a few months ago, so I'm very new to all of this, but it's exciting.
Wow. Do you happen to know your sales through rate in that category?
I was looking, one sec, I was looking at that right now. So where do you go again? Dashboard reporting?
Yeah, sales performance.
It says my sell-through rate 124.5.
Well, that's because you sell renewables. And
So that's like, yeah, I was wondering how that compares to, everybody else on the call, and just looking at your metrics right there as well.
that's very good.
Is it? Okay.
You're really good.
Right,
What's your average sales price?
Average sales price about $49.78.
It's really good. Yeah. So it's what I've seen. I would say average would probably be between 5 and 10%.
Okay.
Average sales price between 20 and 25. But it's all about buying. Like yourself, you have contracts with manufacturers. That's huge. So that's definitely one way how you can scale.
Hey, I have a question. So my sell-through rate, I just went and looked, is 11.5.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of clothes, probably half clothes and then half other, like hard goods or linens and stuff like that. My ASP is good. It's over 40. But what I'm curious about is, does the delist and relist, does that impact somehow the sell-through rate, like determining what that would be?
No, the only thing that impacts is this chart here. I'll show you. It impacts, it's pulling up, sorry.
I'm just guessing because you don't have, I won't let things now go past somewhere between 60 and probably 60 and 75 days. But
the only thing it impacts is this chart here, which is kind of confusing. We're going to actually break this out. So these items here, it looks like we have $97,000 in stuff that's only 0 to 30 days. That's not necessarily true, because some of these items could be half a year that we're delisting and sell similar. So does that make sense? We need to break that out into a different graph, but we haven't been able to find time to develop that yet.
Well, let me ask this. What is the computation behind your sell-through rate percentage?
I will give that and put it on the Facebook. I want to get the developer Wu Chung to
okay.
It gets it's simple with one-offs, but when you have replenishables, it gets into when you're taking snapshots of inventory counts. Mm-hmm. And Wu Chung's background, if everyone knows, he has his PhD in physics. Like, he's like a big data, and he's way out there.
He's a nerd.
He's a huge nerd.
And we love him. Yeah.
So I'll let him. Yeah. If I say something, he'll probably call me in 30 minutes and say, "What are you doing?" Our first live video, I said we were international to a Canadian person, and he crushed me over a live show because now he had to develop it for the person. So now we're international. So, any other? I'm here for 15 more minutes. Anyone?
Maybe that was a Freudian slip. Maybe you wanted international, so you forced the hand.
I forced the change. I did it again with Europe, actually. So now we're in Europe. Anyone have any questions about like the tech space? I mean, it's really huge on what we sell. It's just that the sales through rate is really high in computer parts. Trying to think. Is it so? Everyone on the call is a trial user, right? So far.
No, I just signed up. I was a trial user. I just actually this morning signed up. So
good deal. Yeah. So our kind of thought process behind the delist sell similar is if the program is making you more than 40, if the delist sell similar is making you more than $40, it's kind of a no-brainer because it saves you a lot of time and generates extra revenue for you. And I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but in your My Account page, there is a referral link. And if you click that, you'll need to register your PayPal account. And if you send this link to someone, they sign up, we'll pay you $50 just for giving us that person.
Good to know.
Yep, never know. I'm curious to see what people thought about the wholesale thing. I'm spending a lot of resources on this. Do people like this? I kind of see this being the future of Datamiine, but I want people to say, Brooks, you're stupid, or what do you think? Is $2.95 even worth a shirt like this?
I think that's a good price. It's just not interesting to me, but
Okay.
I'm one person,
Anybody else? Not enough data here. I'm still going to go with it. It's we've thought about doing like cross-listing stuff to Poshmark and things like that. I think that would be a huge market for us. I think I can. Sellhound. Does anyone on the call use Sellhound? No? It's a plug for them. They're like cross-listers, but they charge like $3 a listing, which I think is pretty tough, pretty pricey.
That is pretty pricey.
Because,
I know someone who does cross-post pretty much more reasonable than that, but what I was going to say is if you're taking feedback for what we want to see, like I don't have any questions, but I would love to see an opportunity to schedule not necessarily schedule the time of day, but schedule the day the delist and relist happens. So if I wanted to go on vacation and I would say, these 25 on this day and this 25 on this day, you know what I mean? So that's one option I'd love to see. And then if you're working on something, I think having a way to list through Datamiine would be awesome so that we could have sort of a back office situation. I know eBay says it's coming, but
I know.
So that's my 2 cents.
What about photo backup? Like backing up your photos. Is that
it's less important to me, but
less?
Yeah.
Okay. We're looking at that just because some users are actually paying, what's that company's name? InkFrog? Just for that. They're not even using InkFrog to list. They're just using it for the back office to store their photos.
Well, that is something interesting though. So let's say I oftentimes, well, hopefully it won't happen now, but it used to be that I would end things and then not get them relisted and they would fall off my radar and I would find them in inventory and realize I didn't have it listed. I'd go back and try to find the old listing to just do a sell similar so I didn't have to rewrite the whole thing.
Yep.
And I couldn't pull it up. Will I be able to?
In Datamiine?
In Datamiine.
Yes. Only if you have a store subscription. If you have basic, you can't.
Right.
It just drives off. But if you have a store subscription, it will just show 0 here. The quantity, would just show. You see this right here? Oh, no, that's not right. The quantity would just show 0, and then you would come back in here and edit, and then change whatever you want. Or you can click on the picture, and it takes you directly into eBay.
So even if I'm not listing the item as a replenishable, so to speak, you're saying it'll just go to quantity 0 in my history on Datamiine.
Yes.
And I just, okay, cool. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions?
Yeah, I've got one really quick because, it's no secret that I'm new at this. Can you explain to me just the basic theory behind the delist relist feature? Does it just trick the, Cassini algorithm into thinking what? I just don't really understand it personally.
I could pull an eBay here and say the algorithm, I can never tell you. They were like, no. To be honest, I did not. I think, Teresa, were we on a call one day when I said, do you remember how all this started? We were looking at your inventory. Is she still in the call? I don't think she is anymore. So Teresa Cox, many of you may know her. She's really well known with eBay. We've been working with her on this for over a year. And, our inventory looks really different for tech goods because everything is renewables, and I might have 100 of the one thing. And then when I'm looking at Teresa's inventory, and it's like 5,000 one-offs, and I'm like, how does one person manage? Because we have 4 people to manage 300 listings, and they have one person managing 5,000. And then that's when I ask questions about delisting and getting rid of stale inventory and all this stuff. And then that's when I got my mind around the holding cost chart. And then I just started seeing people try to do parties around, do 2 a day. And I'm like, we have to automate it. I just thought it was going to be a time saver. I did not realize the revenue effects on the search rank of eBay. And when we first launched this, I'll show you ours, back in August of last year, 2018. We did it at the very end of August, and then by October, we had like 300 items or 100. I can't remember the exact count. We had a lot of items in half a year or greater, and that's when we just saw this huge jump, $1,700, $1,100, and we were very shocked in a good way. And then when eBay's new announcement, I think that's only going to drive a lot more people to us, because now those people are going to have to manually do that, or they're going to take a hit in sales. So I think the people that were listing 30 days aren't going to really see anything until the next 60 days. And then when sales starts dipping, you're going to see a crisis mode in people.
Yeah, it is peculiar to me that eBay, I understand the reasoning behind wanting good till canceled. I've always done good till canceled. But then, that's one side of the mouth. The other side, they tell you that, or it's believed anyway, that your listings are suppressed after a certain number of days in search. So
right. Why
wouldn't they just give us a 60-day option or a 90-day option? It's to their detriment, because I'm going to obviously use your services for
right.
that. But it just makes no sense to me why.
I think if I had to take a guess on why they do that, it's like Poshmark. Poshmark turns people into robots. Share. It's so dumb. But what it does is it forces you to be in their platform all the time. Just like eBay. If they automated this, and we did it so they could do it, you wouldn't be in their platform as much. Seeing things, doing things. I think that's the main reason. And that, to me, that's a disservice to the seller. And opens the door. And I think that's why eBay really likes third-party tools, because we got eBay certified like in a month after looking at our stuff. So we are certified by eBay. It was a very strenuous process, especially around security, but we're good to go there. Any other questions? I've never seen someone in tools, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's I guess the difference, at least with my stuff, since I'm doing tools, is that the total listing number in the categories that I'm selling in or at least the keywords that I'm going for, seem to be drastically lower than most other categories. So not sure how that affects me, but it just makes it a little bit easier to get my listings up at the top.
Do you know if you're selling to businesses or mainly consumers?
I'm selling to mainly consumers. I mean, the companies that I'm working with, they'll just go sell to businesses directly, right? One thing that we're really trying to do is figure out how to use the global shipping program to our advantage, because even the companies only have licenses to sell. They either can only sell domestically in the continental United States, or they just don't have the capacity to handle international shipments reliably, right?
Right. Yeah, I would highly suggest going through your orders once a week, because you never know. You might find a business in there, one or two, and then call them, and now you have your own direct relationship with them.
Yeah, no, it's a really good point. I mean, I as you were talking, I went and just used that tool, and we've only got one guy. The most is like six purchases from one buyer. But
right.
Like I said, it's only the third month, so maybe month 6, that guy will have purchased a bunch more. Who knows?
Exactly. Yeah, and I would even consider in your custom label, maybe even doing it by brand. So DeWalt dash inventory bin, I don't know how you use custom label, 821. And then that way you can search DeWalt and see all your buyers of DeWalt, all your buyers of this. Just an option.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea. Cool. Well, I got to go. Thank you very much for this, man.
All right. Anyone else? Nope. All right. I will put this on the Facebook group. Thanks for joining and have a good day.
Thank you.
Thanks. See you.